Καλησπέρα σας και από μένα. Ονομάζομαι Alkis Triantafyllopoulos, είμαι μηχανολόγος μηχανικός. Είμαι ένας από τους 5... In English or in Greek? Is there anyone who doesn't speak Greek? English. English will then. Right. My name is Alkis Triantafyllopoulos. I'm a mechanical engineer. I'm a member of ASHRAE. I'm one of the regional offices, European regional offices of ASHRAE, of Region 14, the European region. Also a member of the Hellenic chapter. And I'm mostly here to explain to you a little bit and give you a short introduction about ASHRAE, what they do, what they don't, and how you can involve with them and evolve with them, both of them. Do I use this one? I'm also one of the two European society trainers of ASHRAE for the official HVAC training that ASHRAE holds throughout Europe, throughout the world actually, not only Europe, and along with my colleague, Mr. George Pantelidis. So if anyone ever needs to get the official trainings of the HVAC design, for example, from ASHRAE Society, we usually do the training in-house, on a regional level. Last time we went to Dublin to train them. We've done trainings in Greece, in Spain, and so on and so forth. So what is ASHRAE? It's a society, it's an organization worldwide with 55, maybe 60,000 members so far. It's mostly engineers involved, but not all engineers involved. And you do not need a degree of engineering or any kind of degree to join them. You can join them and participate as much or as little as you want to. Just you click on their website, log in, register, and this is it. So you don't need to be an engineer, or you need to have a certain degree or master's or whatever to join the site. And from there we have 3 stages. So it's the regional, the society level, which is globe. Then on each, I wouldn't say continent, I would say there are some regions that cover out through certain areas. We have regions in USA, we have region 14, which is Europe, we have RAL, which is the region of at large for India, Pakistan, and so on and so forth. We have region 13, which is Japan and things like that. So there are regions separated throughout the world, and then within the regions there are chapters. Usually a country has one chapter, but not necessarily. In the US we see plenty of chapters within the same country. We have a chapter in Spain. We used to have 2 chapters in UK, 3 chapters in UK. Now we only have 1. Chapters in Cyprus as well. Greece as well. So these are the 3 stages of ASHRAE that you can see. What is ASHRAE famous about? Well, the amount of resources you can get for ASHRAE, especially the technical resources, is tremendous. There is no other organization throughout the world that has so many technical resources an engineer or anyone who needs any kind of these technical resources can find. So you see, we have on the top left, we have the ASHRAE books that the members on a yearly basis receive from ASHRAE. The fundamentals, the HVAC systems requirements, the HVAC applications, and the refrigeration. And then we have the standards, which is one of the core values of ASHRAE, the standards. These can be energy standards, ventilation standards, indoor air quality standards, minimum energy requirement standards, refrigeration, health and safety standards. So any kind of standards for the built environment come from ASHRAE, usually through backgrounds, and we'll explain later how these come up. We have design guides, we have and loads of other resources I'm going to explain to you later. And then technical committees. More than 100 technical committees, anyone can join them. You don't even have to be a member of ASHRAE to join a technical committee. They're open for everybody and everybody. And there are technical committees from heating, cooling, refrigeration, ventilation, you name them. You can join them only if you need to progress after a certain point of voting member, then you probably need to be an ASHRAE member, not necessarily. In order to keep up with them, to follow them on technical background, seek any kind of changes they may have on F-gas, for example, this is the way to do it. From the technical committees, we have a lot of things coming out. First of all, is the standards. So I'm going to give you 4 or 5 standards of ASHRAE that are the most basic one, the most well-known, like ASHRAE 90.1 and 90.2, which is the minimum energy efficiency of buildings. 90.1 is for high-rise buildings, 90.2 is for low-rise building, residential mostly. So these are energy codes that in order to comply, you need them. And then from that, we have also 90.4, what we see .4 is usually data centers. So we even have an energy code for data centers in order to comply. And then we proceed with standard 55, which is the thermal environmental conditions of thermal comfort. How do we define thermal conditions? How do we obtain that? 62.1 and 62.2 is the indoor air quality, the ventilation rates we need for a space to occupy it, and how to design it. And again, 62.1 is for high-rise buildings, 62.2 is for low-rise buildings and residential. Standard 170 for ventilation in healthcare facilities, hospitals. Most of the hospitals designed worldwide follow the standard 170. So all these standards, all these come out of the technical committees. People, volunteers, all these 50, 60,000 members throughout the world gather twice a year, 3 times a year, 4 times a year. They gather around. Usually they gather on ASHRAE expenses. So you put some effort in it, and then ASHRAE will pay your trips to the annual conferences, the regional conferences of ASHRAE, to contribute as an engineer, as a volunteer, to contribute with your knowledge, your expertise, or your willingness to learn. ASHRAE will cover some or most of your costs to travel there and join these technical committees and then come up with standards or handbooks or design guidelines and things like that. Advanced energy design guides. These are the next step. These are free. Most of the other standards and handbooks are relatively cheap to buy for the members. For the non-members, there is a price in there. There is a price tag. It's not very cheap. It's not very expensive. I would say relatively cheap, actually. For these are totally free. So these are the advanced energy design guides. These will show us where the future will go. They have focused on some specific type of buildings so far, and they have made them available throughout the public, to give us 50%, 75%, and 99% zero energy building design guides. So essentially what it is, it gives you an advanced energy design guide, how to do a step-by-step design for buildings and go to ENZEB. So the road to ENZEB is probably through these rooms. And some basic values they have shown is the small office and medium buildings, multifamily buildings, and schools. So these are the 3 categories that they have so far for zero energy buildings. They have others for minus 50%, minus 75%. They're available for each and every one of you to download them and use them. And of course, apart from buying a copy, you can always access online most of the design guides and standards. So if you want to read something, if you want to look up to something, you can go to the ASHRAE website, the ASHRAE.org website, the society website. Not the GR, the Greek, or the Cyprus, or whatever, the society website. And from there, we have the certification and training that you can do through ASHRAE. And I'll do them step by step. These are the training courses you can have. There is an ASHRAE Learning Center, there's the ASHRAE Learning Institute inside, that you can get plenty of courses. Some of those are courses on demand, you can download them, you get a PowerPoint, and there is a video playing at your convenience from your house. And you see there that there are also prices for members and non-members. And you can have from air conditioning, for water systems, for any kind of training, for any kind of systems, any kind of standards, any kind of technical background that you may need. You can find them on demand through the ASHRAE website, like you're on Netflix. It's as simple as that. And then there are also 2 different kinds of trainings. One of them is the instructor-led trainings, like myself. So you have the HVAC design and operation training. You can have that either virtually from your computer, from your house, or we can gather 15 to 20 engineers in a room and then do it day by day, because this is a 5-day course. So it's a huge course. It's 900 pages for level 1 and another 900 pages for level 2. It's a very big course. So this can be done either virtually or at your location if we gather a minimum amount of people. For the virtual part, we usually every year do a training for Europe. One is going to be organized for this society here in collaboration with some other chapters throughout Europe. So if any one of you are interested, feel free to contact any kind of member of staff from your chapter or society or anyone else. And of course, there are the instructor-led training courses online that I explained. You can see there as well. Last but not least, the certifications. And you may have a degree or may not have a degree. This is irrelevant. I've never shown my degree to anyone. I've been working as an engineer for more than 22 years. No one has ever requested to see my bachelor's or any of my 2 masters, ever, period. Not even the first day that I started working. What they may request is some certifications that you actually can do something. So the basic certifications that you can have from ASHRAE, and they're fundamental, and a lot of engineers throughout the world are looking for them, are the HVAC design, commissioning, energy assessment, energy modeling, high-performance building design, which now will integrate decarbonization techniques. This was released from ASHRAE lately. Healthcare facility design, and building operations. I'm going to give you some examples. If any of you are following any kind of certifications for buildings, I will show later on, like LEED certification, WELL certifications, and things like that, you are required to possess at least one of those to proceed, either commissioning or energy modeling. So these are mandatory. I even see a lot of people here that have already been certified from ASHRAE. It's a very nice add to have on your CV, even on your signature. There's an electronic signature from your emails that shows that online, live, you're certified. And then the certifications that are for buildings based on the ASHRAE standards. You must have seen the LEED certification, which is a huge trend lately, following decarbonization techniques, energy techniques, and of course the ESR, right? And the green funding that the banks are now following lately. And you can see here all the kind of buildings that you can certify, from existing buildings, for retail, for homes. We have the first LEED homes. We have a lot of LEED office buildings already in Greece, even the first hotels. We're now having the first LEED homes certified in Greece. I am not aware if you're doing the same thing in Cyprus, forgive me about that. And of course, schools and healthcares. We even have potentially the first LEED school in collaboration in Greece with the Greek government. So these certifications are important for 2 things. They're important for the end user because it kind of gives them a certainty factor that this design is well built, the HVAC is well operated, is very well designed, and is above minimum. For example, if you want to have a LEED certified building, usually even your ventilation rates for well or for LEED or for anything else is increased, and you know that the thermal comfort is increased, the energy consumption is significantly decreased. So either you're an end user and you're occupying the building, or you're someone's going to buy a place for the building, a house, an office, rent an office, you're going to have your utilities decreased. So there are a lot of win-win situations in those kind of buildings. The standards that we mandatory follow for the certifications of these buildings, you see them here, 90.1, 62.1, 55, 62.2, and so on and so forth. These are mandatory based on the versions of the certifications to follow. And usually, for some of those, you even are required to go above those. High-performance building designs. This will soon integrate decarbonization structures and decarbonization design for the ASHRAE standards. Data centers, and the relevant. And of course, the first LEED homes that are being designed. I don't want to keep you more than that. This is just an introduction of what Society ASHRAE does, and give you the opportunity to involve with that and maybe evolve as engineers. Thank you.
Ευχαριστήσουμε τον Άλκη για την εξαιρετική παρουσίαση. Ερωτήσεις?
Yes, please.
About the certifications, how can you get prepared and obtain these certifications?
It's very easy. You do it online, just like everything else now. We used to have exams in Greece or Cyprus with someone here. You only do it online now through the ASHRAE.org, the official website. You apply for the certification. You can download the relatively course that so they give you instructions, clear instructions of how to do it, what is the course. They even give you past papers or examples of previous exams to see if you're prepared. You can have a test run as well for the certification. All these are available, and then you have an examination. There's a couple of hours, and this is it. You're done. Even if you do fail to do so, which usually people do not, but let's say that you do, you get a chance for a small fee to repeat the exams. So it's, unless you're not aware of the subject, it's relatively easy to study a little bit, follow these basic standards, and then get certified, which is very good.
Do you have to be a member, or it's?
No, you don't have to be a member. No, anyone can be certified. As I said, the price for the member is much better. So it might be worth it for you to become a member, because the actual price difference might be integrated. So they give you, the Americans are like that, right? They will give you a cheese, you know, it's, I don't know, it's 400 euros for the non-members, 200 euros for the members, and the membership is 200 euros. So you see my point, but anyone can be that, and you do not need to be a member to be certified. Anything else?
Άλλη ερώτηση? Αλκή, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Thank you.